Hello, White Sox fans, and welcome in to another winning edition of the Sox On Tap postgame show. It's Tony on Tap alongside NWI Steve. We are talking about a White Sox winner in New York. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing to say, Steven. The White Sox are on a 4-game winning streak. I believe that's the first time we've been here, Steven. How are you feeling about that?
Hey, Anthony, I'm feeling good. All I have to say is the Yankees lose.
That is, in fact, as you like to say, facts only, Stephen. That is some facts only. They lost tonight. The White Sox won. And we're going to talk about a 4-game winning streak here in just a second. Before we do, be sure you are following the show on YouTube. That's youtube.com/OnTapSportsNet. Go subscribe so you can get in the comments. Follow the show on Twitter at Sox On Tap. You can follow Steve at NWI_Steve. Myself at Tony On Tap. 3-2 victory tonight, Stephen. The gelato tasted very good tonight. I'm going to let you talk a little bit about what we saw from Lucas Giolito's very impressive night out in the Bronx.
Some nice, smooth, creamy gelato on a, smog-filled, sweaty, greasy New York summer evening. It's just something you like to see happen there.
I'm surprised the Canadian wildfires didn't melt the gelato. It just held its form all night.
It did. It maintained its consistency, and consistency is the key. Went through 6 no-hit innings out there tonight. Obviously,
is consistency the key, Stephen? Is that a thing? Is that confirmed?
It is #confirmed via multiple sources.
We like consistency around here.
We do. We're big fans of it, especially when you get consistent gelato. I mean, you love it. Was going out there, ran some deep counts a little bit here today, did have the 3 walks, but really avoided hard contact throughout the entirety of the 6 innings that he went out there, and just putting up zeros. There was a lot of just really soft contact on the ground specifically. TA got a pretty good workout there defensively today and was able to do his job, so kind of making amends for what we saw and some of the lackadaisical effort over the weekend there. Maybe he just got a little bit recalibrated and refocused, particularly on the defensive side of things. So pretty important today because he was really at the center of the action for most of the evening here.
Absolutely. And Stephen, this is something that we talked about on our Sunday Fun Day episode, did we not? Using your defense to record outs. Unfortunately, Lucas Giolito only able to go the 6 innings, but he was able to use the defense. I think there was a couple of 2-tree waste pitches that we could have had back there, maybe get us to the 7th, and maybe we'll see what happens there. But there was some controversial calls within this from the management staff. If you do want to get into that. I know I do a little bit down the road, but 7 Ks tonight for Lucas Giolito. I've got a comment in here that I have to get to because it's sort of the elephant in the room. Steven's hair is absolutely on point tonight, ladies and gentlemen. The hair is on point, Steven. Maybe is this like some victory beer hair? What do we got going on here?
It's kind of just one of those things.
Hair and makeup not, get you all ready and spiff for this show, or is this the new look that they're trying to go with?
Listen, I'm just winging it out there. It was kind of one of those scenarios where I just got out of the shower, threw the headband on, and just whatever happened. This is how it dried, so this is how we're going to roll with it tonight. And sometimes, you got to keep things fresh. You got to diversify your look a little bit and just change things up. And we're kind of at that point right now. And who knows, maybe this is the catalyst to get things really going for this baseball team. Who knows? We'll see.
You never know. I've talked about you going back to the Aaron Rowand at points via the facial hair route to see if that can jumpstart the boys. But maybe it's this new Steve Dew that we're all witnessing live here on the Sox on Tap postgame show that will continue to carry this momentum. Steven, the White Sox offense tonight was powered by one Sebi Zavala. Now, neither of us and no one within the Sox on Tap crew had Mr. Sebi Zavala as their pick to click, but he would obviously have run away with this one had he been picked. 2 home runs tonight for Mr. Sebi Zavala. The first one comes in the third inning, courtesy of the Mickey Mouse Park that is Yankee Stadium, new Yankee Stadium. Steven, the second one was no cheap shot. That was just fucking cranked, in my opinion. Talk a little bit about Sebi Zavala before we get to the sixth inning here, because all the damage came from Sebi Zavala in the third and the fifth before we even had to worry about various White Sox pitching changes. So, floor is yours, my friend.
Imagine being a Sebi Zavala hater in the year of our Lord 2023. Saw a lot of people barking before the game about Sebi Zavala being in the lineup. And what does he do out there? He goes out there and he let the haters be his motivators tonight. Went out there and simply powered this team to a victory in the Bronx.
I'm going to need you to do some research here, Stephen. Does he have a higher OPS on the road against right-handed pitchers than Jake Burger at this point in time?
I can reach out to multiple sources and work to get confirmation. I might even work to get hashtag double confirmation. Big double confirmation guy. You get that. That's the highest standard in the business.
Yes, it is. Double confirmation is nice. If you haven't checked it out, Steve put together some words on one Jacob Burger, who is a hot topic. Couple two tree. It might be closer to 1,000. But there's definitely 2 or 3 words in there about Jake Burger, who was not in the lineup tonight. That was a big discussion before the ball game as to whether or not he should be in the lineup tonight, Steven. And I know you've got thoughts on that, but Sebi Zavala did the damage. I thought he put on as best of an offensive showing as you can on the big stage in the Bronx. I loved it. I loved every second of it. I was there for the 3 home run game. I don't know if you were, Steven, but I was there for the 3 home run game that he had at home. I believe that was back in 21. But he's got the power to do this type of thing. I'm just glad it showed up tonight because we needed it.
I unfortunately was not in attendance for the 3 home run game. I had some personal matters I was tending to that evening. So it unfortunately prevented me from being in the ballpark that evening, but that's not why you called. Something happened tonight.
It was a beautiful night for baseball, although the White Sox did lose.
They did. But I will say this, something happened tonight. The ball went over the fencing multiple times. The White Sox deployed the multi-home run strategy. And you love to see it. And Voodoo, my guy, I got something for you. Okay?
We're not on the Voodoo comment. We were
man. We're going to
Voodoo
right now.
First.
We're going to Voodoo right now here. Because he said, Steve knows words. I know the best words, the most impressive, beautiful words. I know them all.
We just got Stephen Trump there for a second. Steve's hair is beautiful tonight. Thank you, Michael. You might have just tuned in a little bit late. We were just discussing the hair and makeup room and their choice tonight to go with this look for Stephen. I might just start calling him Stefan with this hair look right now, because I think this is a very Stefan look for Mr. Steven. So he might be Stefan for the rest of the episode. All right. So, Stefan, as we move on here, Sebi Zavala gets the job done, but Lucas Giolito carries a nice no-hitter through a majority of this ball game, and then he leaves with 100 pitches. Now, I'm of the managerial ilk. We've had these discussions before that, I like sort of the old school mentality of baseball. And, there's certain managers that I enjoy who've also made these sort of moves in the past. We're not going to name names here, but it seems that the new school of baseball says once you get to 100 pitches, let's shut them down. I know the air quality within Yankee Stadium today was absolute ass.
Must have been all that trash burning in that fucking shithole city.
It could have been that, but I think it was coming from our neighbors to the north. So, I saw a tweet from a friend of the show, Chuck Naso. He said it smelt like somebody was burning leaves in the middle of Yankee Stadium. You saw plenty of different camera angles that showed just the absolute smog and disgustingness
And you could
over
just feel the grease in those photos.
New York City tonight. And then you get this dugout shot, Stephen. Stefan, sorry. You and I were on the phone during this. It looked like Lucas Giolito had trouble fucking breathing there in the dugout in between the sixth and seventh inning. And the White Sox, Pedro Grifol made the decision to go to Joe Kelly there
You mean
for this.
Jelly?
Code Jelly, yes, Code Jelly made the decision to go away from Lucas Giolito. And how did you feel at that moment? What do you say to the people who think that Lucas Giolito should have been able to finish this ball game with his no hitter intact?
I think it's just kind of par for the course with what you see in the game of baseball today. I mean, look, he got through 6 innings. He still would have had 9 outs to cover at that point. To get through that, additional 9 outs right there, you figure you're looking at probably 30 to 35 pitches, so you're going to run into the 120, 125 mark, and guys just don't go that deep anymore. And it's part of it is a conditioning aspect of it here. Guys, they're just not really given the opportunity to do it, so they're not built for it anymore. And then also the time through the order penalty does exist. I guess my question to you would be this, Anthony. Would you be happy if he was still out there pitching with a no-hitter theoretically in the 9th inning and he was losing it and the team ended up giving up 4 runs in the 9th because of it?
I guess where I counter with that is there's been generations of baseball players who have been able to do this. And I think my anger doesn't go towards the managerial decisions to pull people based on analytics in this. I'm speaking very, very frank on the matter. It's not towards them because they're trying to put their team in the best position to win a baseball game. That's understood. I think some of this comes back to players' agents, the contracts, the way that people are developed now to pitch.
Oh, it's 100%. Yeah, no, it's 100% that. I mean, if
And
you look,
that's where I'm angry with it because I thought it was one of the coolest parts about watching baseball was seeing a guy throw 150 pitches and get through that 9th inning and just get it done and then go ice his arm out. Yes, we've developed as a society to know that might not be the best for somebody's arm and a multi-million-dollar investment, but it took away something that I thought was cool and tough, right? And now it feels lame and weak because we're protecting this multi-million-dollar investment. If you're going to buy a fucking Ferrari, I want to see you take it and go 120 miles an hour in it instead of just sitting there going, okay, we'll drive at 80. Just fucking ride it at least once. It's like having a sports car and then doing the speed limit in it. It wasn't designed to do that. These athletes that are here now in the major leagues are still the same kind of guys that were the athletes back then. All of the money involved in this thing sort of ruined the ability to look at somebody go do something fucking cool that nobody else on this earth is going to be able to fucking do. And now all of a sudden we're driving them in fucking bubble wrap. So it sort of, it defeats the purpose for me of watching that.
Well, this has been an interesting discussion point over the last couple 2-3 days when you look at what's going on with the NCAA baseball playoffs and the regionals that just took place. There was a pitcher on Southern Miss, I believe it was, that threw 120 pitches in a game on Friday and then was literally starting the game last night. And this is apparently a guy that is a first or second round prospect. And, they're just running him into the fucking ground a couple weeks before he gets drafted. And then theoretically he'll get drafted and he won't be tasked with throwing more than like 75 pitches for the remainder of the year. It's fascinating to think about, just the way that there are a lot of college coaches actually that will go out there and that will abuse the hell out of their workhorse pitchers. 120, 130 pitches, without any hesitation. And then those guys, they do get into pro ball, and once
They're handled with
there's
kids' gloves.
yeah. No,
And that's
it's
what, and I think a lot of that, man, just this is my personal opinion. A lot of that is the agent.
100%. It's 100%. It's not just, or I should say, it's not just the agent. It's also a byproduct of the fact that pretty much every team has, an Ivy League GM that is just looking at things from an algorithm and looking at it from an ROI perspective. The players, they are, quote unquote assets.
What's the ROI on a fucking no hitter or perfect game? I know we're not talking about today's baseball game at this point. This is sort of off the rails. What's the ROI on a perfect game, Steven? You've been to a bunch of no hitters, perfect games. Those are magical memories.
They are.
Those are selling points for your team. Those are things that you can look back on as a fan. And I feel like there's been this unwritten sort of, let's beat around the bush discussion that's taken place within baseball. And one of those is you're never going to see another fucking no-hitter again unless the guy can do it under 110 pitches.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I would necessarily say that it's a selling point for the teams per se. It is really more so about the individual pitchers and, kind of an experience for fans. We were damn close to adding another one to my total last September when we were all together congregated. And it would have been really fucking sweet to have done it against those shitbags from Canada South. Fuck you, Luis Ariz, you cocksucker.
Yeah, we're gonna see him next.
Yeah, that
this
fucking
weekend.
motherfucker. I hate him. It's just kind of what it is now at this point. Efficiency, something I talk about pretty regularly with starting pitchers needing to do that.
Here's the next question though. If Michael Kopech goes and throws a no-hitter on the road and throws 130 fucking pitches, his next start at home is going to sell out.
That's no, it won't. And I'll give you a perfect example. Phil Lumber's next start after the perfect game in Seattle in 2012, they didn't even have 20,000 people there. And they were playing the Ginger Sox.
Okay,
so
maybe I'm wrong, but I just feel like it builds momentum for your team. I still remember
and I can give you another example. I can give you another example of how it doesn't build momentum. 2009, when Mark Burley threw the perfect game against Tampa Bay, that game literally got them tied for first place, and this is in July. Got them tied for first place.
I didn't say it gives the team momentum. I said it makes fans excited.
You said momentum.
It's a moment in baseball.
You said momentum in there.
It'll give fans momentum to get to the ballpark. I mean, I would, as a fan. Maybe other people aren't going to go out there and want to go cheer on the guy that just threw a no-hitter on the road. I don't know. Maybe it's a Tuesday afternoon or a Wednesday afternoon on a getaway day where the next time somebody's, turn in the rotation comes through. But I at least I feel like as a fan, I'm going to want to go out there and support that guy. And we've got attendance problems, right? Like I just tweeted something out the other day. The White Sox have lost 20% in attendance thus far this season, which is the most out of any Major League Baseball team, and for good reason. They played shit baseball to start this 2023 campaign.
And they're an unserious organization.
You need good moments throughout the season. You do. I think you do need good moments throughout the season. It gives people something to talk about and remember. There was a whole documentary, Steven, that we just did an interview with the guy who directed and produced it on a team that had good moments, that is a lasting memory for many individuals. Some of that's about the stadium, but it's also about the team itself. You got to give people the opportunity, in my opinion, to achieve something that other people aren't going to be able to do. Lucas Giolito at 100 pitches, I might have given him the ball to go out there one more inning.
I mean, he's
And if
already
he
got the
loses
no-hitter under his belt, though.
He does. I know he does. But do you think I don't know how many pitches Burley was at. I'm sure it was well less than what Giolito was at tonight. But do you think that would have been the same discussion a couple of years ago when Mark Burley was in the dugout? Or do you think he would have said, fuck you, I want that baseball. I'm going out there. I'm finishing this thing, versus the attitude that we get now?
I mean, 2009 baseball versus 2023 baseball is drastically different. It's almost like you can't even really compare the two, to be completely honest with you. I think at this point, it's more important about the White Sox continuing to win baseball games versus the risk factor of going out there and trying to get a no-hitter. I mean, look, I'll give you another example. In 2009, White Sox and my personal nemesis, Johan Santana, on the New York Mets, did the first no-hitter in franchise history, threw 125 pitches in that game. He was literally never the same ever again. His arm literally started to fall off after that. So there's a lot of risk reward that goes along with that. And if we want the White Sox to be hashtag redacted, would you rather have that or Lucas Giolito throw a no-hitter?
Flags fly forever and legends never die, Stephen.
So you'd rather have you'd rather have a division title.
I think you can have your cake and eat it too.
We're White Sox fans. That's not allowed, right?
We are, but what are the chances? You've said it a million times. What are the chances the White Sox actually get themselves back in this division and then go on a playoff run? You're the one who's championed that. So wouldn't you have rather had one no-hitter at this to talk about and remember from this
Honestly,
team?
I mean, I saw my favorite White Sox player. I attended my favorite White Sox player ever throwing a no-hitter in a terrible season. So honestly, it doesn't really mean a lot to me at this point.
Yeah, well, we've got some comments in here. Sox Insane says, wins over no-hitters. We already know that, Besnick. In fact, we do. I blame this guy for every single no-hitter that's ever been lost in the history of baseball at this point in time.
Checks out.
If you don't follow him, you can follow at Sox Insane, and you can watch no-hitters go to die on that Twitter account. Sockside Mike says, I just want to win ball games and drink victory beers. I do too, Mike. That's one of my favorite things to do, and that's why I do them on this show with everybody else. Voodoo is in here, says division titles mean nothing. World Series banners fly the highest. That is absolutely true. And then we've got another one in here. Burley throws 300 pitches minimum for a no-no.
That's just fake news. Mark Burley throwing 300 pitches. Voodoo, whatever you were on, send some of it this way, because now I know you're talking nonsense at this point. Mark Burley throw 300 pitches in 9 innings. Get the hell out of here.
I mean, it's a little egregious. It's a little egregious, but I think the math might check out here.
The math does not check out.
Math checks out here. You got to be cool and tough, and you got to be able to throw that many pitches to get the no-hitter done.
Mark Burley would never have to.
Yeah, well, that's part of the whole facts-only portion. He would if he was put in the position to, Stephen.
But he wouldn't need to.
Stefan, sorry, I'm already fucking this up. It's Stefan.
It's a terrible analogy. It's a terrible analogy because Mark Burley would never throw 300 pitches in a game. You know why? Because Mark Burley just got the ball and pounded the fucking strike zone. That's what he did.
Well, if he had to, he would. Per Voodoo,
but he wouldn't.
I think that's at least one sauce for you. Let's talk about how this thing got broken up, though, Stephen, because we need to talk about this play and how important communication is. I'll let you handle this one. Let's talk about the hit.
Luis Robert and Noodle Boy.
Your pick to click tonight, by the way.
He was my pick to click. I thought maybe this would be the Noodle Boy revenge game. Who knows? Maybe I'm just a day off. It could happen. Fly ball, left center field gap. Not overly hard hit. A lot of hang time on it. Two of them both converging on the ball. Once again, as we see, piss poor communication between the two of them. Robert turns, looks over at Benintendi, and then just lets the ball fall right next to him instead of literally sticking his arm out and catching the fucking baseball for an out. What were we told before the season by Pedro Grifol, Anthony? We were told that the White Sox were going to be fundamentally sound. We were told that they were going to do the little things. We were told that they were going to play clean, fundamental baseball. They, in fact, do none of those things. And this was just another gleaming fucking example of this nonsense that we see from this team, which is a big part of the reason why they are 8 games under 500 right now. And you see it in this particular situation here, and it is so fucking annoying. And I'll tell you this much, Voodoo, you made a ridiculous comment earlier. You fucking redeemed yourself with this one here because Aaron.
He's just trying to score. He's just trying to score Steve points. He's trying to score Steve points here.
He is.
Stefan points.
Stefan points. I'm onto his game, but you know what? Anytime anybody wants to talk about Aaron Rowan, I'm here for it.
Read the comment out so that the podcast people can.
Our buddy, friend of the show, Voodoo, says Aaron Rowan would have ended Benintendi's career for the out. Yes, he would have. You know why? Because Aaron Rowan treated every fucking out, all 27 of them, like they were life and or death. And he would go out there and he would give his body, his heart, his soul, and every fiber of his being if he knew that he could go out there and get an out for his ball club.
And just like Mark Burley would have thrown 300 pitches and given his heart, his soul, and
he
his
wouldn't
arm,
have to. He wouldn't have to.
Arm for that no hitter.
Wouldn't have to.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about the TW, and sometimes I just think that these ball players these days might just be a touch below the TW notch it takes to get through a no hitter. It doesn't matter if it's 100 pitches or 300 pitches. You should just do it and go for glory. I mean, that's just facts only, Stephen. You just said it. If Aaron Rowan can go out there and end Andrew Benintendi's career and sacrifice the body, why can't you just sit there and say that the pitchers should too? I don't know. They're going to launch an investigation on this
because there's a significant difference. Because that pitcher literally has the ball in his hand every single pitch.
That makes him the most dangerous player on the field.
It does, but it also makes him the most important. And given the position that the White Sox are in, again, if Lucas,
are you downplaying Andrew? Are you downplaying Andrew Benintendi, Luis Robert, and Gavin Sheets out there in the outfield as being not important?
I'm definitely downplaying Noodle Boy. Yes.
Okay. Just one of them. I like how you kept my son out of this.
Yeah, I got some. Your son. You need to get your son out in the back fucking yard here.
We haven't worked on hitting in a while, so
yeah, and it shows.
Yeah, I know. That's not good. I was trying to get my other kid to start hitting the ball, and you got to spread the love around a little bit. Joe Kelly gives up 2 hits in that inning, Steven, and the no hitter is no more. Yeah, that ended poorly. I still think that Besnick should have just rested on the tweet. That's my thoughts. I don't know if you've got any on that.
We might have to mute Besnick for this comment here, saying Rowan probably has CTE. First of all, Aaron Rowan's brain would beat the living shit out of CTE in a fight. All right, blasphemy, absolute blasphemy, right there. Talking about Aaron Rowan's brain like that. How dare you?
Oh boy. I don't even know where to go from there. Um, Kendall Graveman and Liam Hendricks both looked pretty good tonight. You got Graveman in the eighth, which is where he rightfully should be. And Liam Hendricks comes in, and I believe he earns his first save
He did. Funny story about
of
that, though,
the
is
season tonight.
funny story about that is good old Boog Nightingale said that Liam Hendricks got the save after a 1-2-3 inning. Narrator voice. He in fact did not have a 1-2-3 inning.
Just like Josh Donaldson walked on, what was it, 5 pitches or whatever tonight? Yeah.
I mean, you can't make it up. You can't make it up. But Hendricks got the job done.
He
after
did.
After that home run to that flaming shitbag, Josh Donaldson, he locked it down, got 3 ground ball outs. White Sox winner, left-hand column. Let's go.
We can't actually, we got a comment in here. LA says, can we talk about how much Donaldson sucks? I think it's absolutely ridiculous. He would be the guy to hit the first home run off of a cancer patient or cancer survivor. That would be a very Josh Donaldson thing to do. I didn't find that respectful. In fact, I'm sort of upset that TLR is not our manager still, because I think that he would have been absolutely irate in the post-game show about how disrespectful it was for Josh Donaldson to do that. Stephen.
You think he would have been awake for the post-game show?
Probably. It's New York. They got an hour on us. So, and I was going to say, the reason for some of this, hiccups tonight was probably just due to the time zone changes. After 7:10, I'm pretty sure the Sox started to kick some ass. But prior to 7:10, I don't know if they were doing.
Yeah, but that was 7:10 Eastern time, though.
It was, but these boys are conditioned on Central time.
Yeah, but they flew out yesterday, so they gave their bodies a day to acclimate. So I think they went out there and they hashtag set the tone because it was a 7:10 start.
Okay. I thought that they probably could have jumped out to a little bit earlier of a multi-run lead and put a couple more crooked numbers on the board. But I digress. We won this game, and we are flying high here on the Sox on Tap post-game show. So, Steven, we've got to get the picks to click for tomorrow. We've got to preview tomorrow's matchup. It's one that I am very, very nervous for. We talked about this on Sunday Fun Day. I am not comfortable going into this Lance Lynn day comparative to all the other Lance Lynn days. You've said the word. You've said the word cooked a couple of times about Lance Lynn. I don't know. I'm a little nervous about this one. I did say we needed to get game 1, and we did that. So I'm happy. However, I'm a little nervous about tomorrow. We're going to need Lance Lynn to not be the Lance Lynn that we've seen for most of this season.
Yeah. This is, I think, the most treacherous game of the 3-game series. Now, there is one thing that, will be working a little bit in Lance's favor, not of his doing. Aaron Judge apparently is going to go on the IL tomorrow with that toe injury that he sustained out in LA over the weekend. So, you see it without Aaron Judge, this lineup for the Yankees, it thins out very quickly. A lot of people in our neck of the woods like to talk about TA being the guy that makes the Sox engine go. Aaron Judge makes that Yankees offense go. Without him, that offense, like I said, it is very pedestrian. You have Giancarlo Stanton is just getting back from an injury himself. He's not really rounded into form. I got a lot of guys there right now that are not hitting, and a lot of guys banged up. So this is actually a good time to kind of be catching them theoretically. With that being said,
not who you play.
It's when you play them. And that's true. Unfortunately, early on in the season, the Sox didn't take advantage of a lot of opponents when they had an opportunity to, but that's over. That's in the past. They got to try to make this happen now. Lance, I mean, you got to find a fucking way to get ahead of these hitters with consistency, and they're going to hit the ball in the air. You got to find a way to have them hitting the ball into the air into the one not tiny part of the ballpark in left center field.
Stay inside on every right-handed hitter.
He's going to have to try that. And then, Mr. Dirty Slide, Tony Rizzo. Just don't get anything out over the plate there. And then he'll have, one of those Mickey Mouse home runs, so try to stay away from that.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one tomorrow with Lance Lynn on the mound. I hope we can come away with our 5th straight victory. I'm going to hold my breath a little bit on this one. You got to pick the click?
Let's see. Pick the click. I assume
you went with your favorite player on the White Sox.
I went with Noodle Boy today.
Yeah.
I'm gonna assume he's gonna be in the lineup, so I will take Yaz tomorrow. Somebody's got to take advantage of that short parch. We saw Sebi do it today. A little oppo.
You're looking for more power from the catcher position.
Yeah. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to go with Yaz, assuming he's in the lineup.
I like it. I'm going to go with. I don't think I've taken him all year. Andrew Vaughn.
Wow.
I think we might get another Vaughn bomb tomorrow. And maybe he can work some oppo field magic.
He's done it in that ballpark before.
Yeah, so I'm going to go Andrew Vaughn. I know I took Eloy Jimenez tonight, so I'm going to try and spread the love just a little bit. I'm going to go Andrew Vaughn. I think maybe he can pad the stats a little bit and make his numbers look a little prettier.
So you're saying that he's going to end the night with 8 times as many home runs as the slapdick Noodle Boy that he replaced?
Potentially. That would be, very, good for the narratives that some people want to write about in certain columns around the baseball, media landscape. I think that would be a really good story.
Some of those people just like to report #facts only. It's what they do,
Yeah. So I think I'm going to go with Andrew Vaughn. Stefan, whatever we want to call you tonight. The hair was on point. There we go. Give everybody the hair flip. You got to pay extra for that in certain places. So 3-2 victory for the
it is Sox On Tap after dark.
We got some feet pics from Steve out there on the timeline if you're interested. 3-2 final tonight in New York. The White Sox were victorious. It's 4-game winning streak that we're on. It's so hard to even say that right now, which is so weird. 4-game winning streak that we're on. It's so fun to do these winning Sox on Tap post-game shows, let me tell you. I know that you'll be back tomorrow. I think our guy Buzz is going to be with you, so make sure you tune in after that one. Hopefully you guys aren't discussing like a Lance Lynn meltdown or anything. Hopefully the boys are able to, bring the bats out and Lance is able to not try and attack the middle of the order. And we're talking about our 5th on this show, but if you want to tune in, make sure you're subscribing to On Tap Sportsnet on the YouTube. That's youtube.com/OnTapSportsNet. Follow the show at Sox on Tap. You can watch us on Twitter, but you can't get in these comments. The comment section was excellent tonight, Steve. And I got to give the game ball to the comment section here tonight for sure. All of you guys who tuned in and were throwing out stuff for us to chat about. You guys are the real MVPs. Steven, you can follow Stefan. Maybe it's going to be NWI_Stefan tomorrow, but for right now, his handle is at NWI_Steve. I'm at Tony on Tap on Twitter. Thank you to everybody who showed up tonight. It was just a beautiful ball game for the White Sox to win. I know we had plenty to discuss. You can catch the show in podcast version wherever you get your podcasts. Steve, any final thoughts?
Yeah, as it relates to the whole Stefan thing, it's definitely not Stefan because guys who have Steven spelled with a PH, their parents just wanted a Stephanie. So that's definitely not me.
That's not facts only. So we'll get to that. I'm sure there's plenty of PHs out there that would refute that.
Is there though? Is there?
There probably are. I mean, I might know a couple. You never know. Steve, It's great to talk about White Sox winners with you. Close it down how we always do. White Sox forever.
White Sox 4-4-4-4 live.